Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. First, I forgot to do this in my first video this morning, and that is a big thank you to my cousin, my good cousin, and for helping me with the sound. We figured things out while we were overseas, so it was a foreign mission, and I hope that the sound is the volume is higher, is stronger, and if not, we're gonna make it very strong for you, very strong for you. Now, thank you. We go to this article where actually we have three articles. If I remember correctly, I'm old, you know, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, PPP. So we got three articles talking about the same subject, which is the Ukrainian counteroffensive, the pending counteroffensive. And I'm going to start with this article that maybe makes you remember about this stormtroopers, storm brigade. From Reuters, we have Ukraine trains 40,000 stormtroopers, brigade troops for counteroffensive. All right, so this is from April 5th. So if you don't remember what this is supposedly the bottom of the barrel of the Ukrainian population. Hey, what's going on with you? And that is about 4 months ago, about 4 months ago, the Russians, so the Soviets, Jesus Christ, the Ukrainians said that, well, we're going to create a volunteer unit. Whomever was left over, Red Rover, could join this unit and gonna pass some tests, like some push-ups, some pull-ups, and we're gonna fight the evil Russians. I said that that's not what it is. I said that is actually a cover-up. That's my I don't have any evidence but history and brains and knowledge, and I said this could be a cover-up for people with ranks and from units from outside coming in as volunteers and speaking other languages than Ukraine, who would be part of this stormtroopers or storm brigade, Ukrainians. They tell us that these are just people who were just left over outside somehow. They were not mobilized. I strongly doubt that. But hey, who knows? When these guys are going to be shot by the other guys or captured, they will speak different languages and they will say that they're volunteers or they are this and that. And that's how the story goes. It's been happening the entire hot war in Ukraine. So let's see what this article has to say. So 8 new units, total 40,000 Ukrainian soldiers. I want revenge on Russia, says volunteer recruit. You see, volunteer. Kiev hopes brigades will help drive back invasion. I think this is the last of the last, but I think I don't think they are these guys. I think they're outsiders, but that's we'll see. Time will tell. That's what my gut feelings tell me. So, more than a year ago, into Russia's full-scale invasion, Alex, a translator with no prior military experience, was advancing through forest with rifle raised, training to ambush enemy forces in one of Ukraine's newest military units. Border of Steel. These guys use this word too much. I tell you why. If you remember, okay, let's say, Border of Steel is one of 8 new storm brigades, totaling 40,000 soldiers that Ukraine wants to use during a counteroffensive against Russia occupiers in coming weeks or months. Let me tell you about the steel shit. Let's put it this way, okay? Stalin, remember that Joseph Vissarionovich Djugashvili? Right, that Djugashvili was Stalin's name, the last name. And Djugashvili was a Georgian, not a Russian, not a Ukrainian. He was a Georgian. And he was the biggest, I would say, criminal in the, or at least responsible for many crimes in the Soviet Union. That beautiful ideology coming from different kind of corners of this earth. Just look and check that out. So he called his name. He used the name de guerre name of war, like I'm gonna say tomorrow the beautiful tulip is gonna be my name de guerre, and I'm gonna fight and say, let's go, the beautiful tulip is charging. All right, so he named himself Stalin, which among others could mean man of steel. All right, these guys use this steel too much, and these are Ukrainians. That gets this confusion between Stalin, group of what was the name of what's the name? Border of Steel. All right, why don't they use border of diamond or something? It's stronger than steel, isn't it? They use that one. When the shuffling madness, which is the semi-conscious president of the United States of America, Biden, visited Zelensky in Kiev, shuffling, and a siren started, if you remember that video. He called, what's his name, Zelensky Stein. He called him man of steel or something. You're a man of steel. I was like, Jesus Christ, again, here we go again. Get lost. The analogy is bad. Use a different word. As I said, diamond, graphite, whatever you want to use, okay? Man of or of balls, or I don't know, red tulip or something, the great tulip, something like that. Man of steel. So there you're gonna have this 40,000 and more. They will have more because who's gonna count them? This is just a facade of what's gonna happen next. That's my assessment. And we're gonna find out if we're gonna be alive in about 4, 7, 8 years. We're gonna find out when we're gonna be allowed to find who was who and what was what. Let's go to the next article here, and this is here you go. Sputnik. Ukraine completes preparation for counteroffensive in Zaporozhye region, official says. So Ukrainian troops have completed preparation for a counteroffensive in the Zaporozhye region, having accumulated military personnel, armored vehicles and ammunition in this direction. Vladimir Rogov, a senior official of the Zaporozhye region administration, told Sputnik on Wednesday. And I'm quoting, they have finished preparation for their so-called counteroffensive, having deployed considerable personnel reserves, armored vehicles and ammunition in Zaporozhye region. They are ready and waiting for the signal. It can happen at any moment, and we are ready to meet the enemy head-on, Rogov said. An attempt to carry out a counteroffensive can become the beginning of the end of the Ukrainian army and the government of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, the official added. I don't think so. There's many other military personnel outside of Ukraine's border that supposedly are trained, and there will be other militaries joining in, like these guys right here. Last week, Ukraine Defense Minister Oleksiy Reznikov told Polish newspaper that Ukrainian army was actively preparing a counteroffensive, which would be launched after the end of bad road season. Okay, and the storks are coming back to start nesting, or what? Ukrainian and Western military experts, I love you experts, have repeatedly called the Zaporozhye region one of Kiev's main targets, as it would open the access to the Azov Sea and cut off the land corridor to Crimea. Russia has considered the Zaporozhye region to be part of its territory since September 30th, 2022, when Russian President Vladimir Zelensky, Putin, and the head of the region signed an agreement on its accession to the country, following a referendum in which an overwhelming majority of the local population supported becoming part of Russia, like people voted in Kosovo. Oh, my bad, but I have to use it. I use it because in Kosovo was everything A-okay, here not okay. Why? Because we are the good ones, and when we organize shit, clear and nice. When they organize shit, dirty and smelly. So let's go and take a look over the map and see where Zaporozhye region is and talk about this little situation. And I'm using a Russian map coming from Sputnik. Here it is. Zaporozhye is this right here. This is the Oblast Zaporozhye. You can see most of it is conquered by the Russians, and here is the corridor that they say Crimea gets its weapons. They can get weapons here over the Kerch Bridge, but they have access to Azov Sea. That's going to be bad if they cut them. I don't think it's going to happen, but hey, what do I know? So here we have it. This is where they try to break through. This is the line of contact. These attacks are done by the Russians, according to the Russians, in a video I will make with an update on the war. So here is where Zaporozhye is. Oops. come back to where you once belonged, right? The Beatles. So here we go. Will they have the power? They will have the power, and they will have the power, but I don't think it's going to be Ukrainian power. I think it's going to be outside power. All these volunteers, remember, supposedly, and I believe that to a certain extent, not the number, I believe that is, or they are, the Ukrainians, all right, the Ukrainians have military personnel trained overseas in their, you know, United States and in the Western countries, including Poland and so on. I don't know how many they have, but we're going to find out they have like 3 million or something now. And believe me, these guys are going to be special troops, trained very good to fight the Russians. And I think this is going to be, how should I put it, the last attempt to use Ukrainians. After that, there's no more. After that, you have to use troops from outside Ukraine, which are, from NATO troops and so on. Do they use them? I have no doubt they are involved. No doubt, 99.9, because I don't like to say 100%, but that happened. And the Russians said many times the Poles are involved. They have units over there under different euphemisms like volunteers and so on, which they might be, and they are. I'm not saying those are the ones that they are, but are extra. They had the Poles had some military personnel demining units, so they were just using to oh, it's a mine over here, let's go, yeah, and we are like, okay, yeah, we're just demining. That's how you do. You say, well, we're going to come into your country just 10 people, and you come with 3 million. And say, well, we told you. So those stormtroopers or storm brigade. And again, a stupid name these guys choose. Couldn't they choose another name? I mean, someone would say, well, this is the Adolf Battalion. Can you think of something else? Or Mao Battalion. Or we're going to do this new policy in the United States where we're going to save the poor, and we're going to call it Mao's Big Leap. Jesus Christ, can you find another word? Well, what's wrong? Well, why don't you take a book and or at least Google it a few times. The same here, Man of Steel, Border of Steel, and then we have this thing with, whatever they bring, just Storm. Isn't that what it was? Storm, Border of Steel. This is what it was, Border of Steel, and these guys are Storm Brigade. Now, you tell me how dumb these guys are. Look at that. Storm Brigade. Thank you very much. And then we go down here, Border of Steel. All right, so I'm going to redefine this. Actually, it's going to be Adolf's Brigade. And here we're going to go, I'm not going to call it Border of Steel. We're going to call it, let's say, Border of Triumph of Steel. All right, let's use Riefenstahl, whatever her name is. Remember Miss Riefenstahl? Is that how her name was? Yeah, Border of Triumph of Steel. How about we use it that way, just to be 100%. You remember that a little documentary made by Leni Riefenstahl? I was a director of movie directors in the 40s, and I think 30 something that Adolf liked. Look into it. Look at the documentary. The little movie about, for instance, look at the Olympics. She made a beautiful representation. Just learn out of it, okay? You don't have to align yourself with any ideologies. Just look at how do you call it? Art, the artistic side of it. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.